Everybody, this is Satyam Jain. I welcome you back to Understand UPSC, and we have been going high and amazingly in the year prelims, last prelims program. It is about to be near about 20 days since this program is up and running, and under this, we have the MCQ Aptitude Development Series, which is going on. This is the third lecture of this particular series. In the initial two lectures, we have covered the 50 questions from the paper of 2018 of UPSC CSE prelims. In this particular lecture, we will be taking ahead from question number 51. So, hold your horses, hold your pen, hold your notebook, and let's begin from the question number 51. Chaliye. Okay, this is the question. Read carefully with me and try to solve it. All right, and write as much as you can. Write as much as you can. Okay. After the Santhal uprising subsided, what was or were the measures taken by the colonial government? Santhal uprising, modern India का lecture आने वाला है as soon as you are done with the ancient medieval. Ancient medieval का lecture आ गया था. Great response on that. We are going to see the modern India का lecture. Notes वोट्स सब provide करा दूंगा. Tension नहीं लेना है, okay? बस पढ़ाई करनी है. That is all that you need to do. Okay, so after the Santhal uprising subsided, what was or were the measures taken by the colonial government? The territories called Santhal Pargana were created. It became illegal for a Santhal to transfer land to a non-Santhal. See, people who always say things like, history is very factual, sir, मेरे को history याद नहीं रहती है, क्या करना है? History is very conceptual. If you are able to understand the concept behind it, it is very conceptual. Let us try and see. See, this particular statement is very generic. यही चीज मैं समझाता हूँ. Territories called Santhal Pargana were created. Think from the examiner point of view. You are setting a paper. Why would you set up such a statement? कैसे आपके दिमाग में आएगा कि संथल परगना नाम की टेरिटरी बना देते हैं? If it was not actually created, tell me. If it was not actually created, then आपके दिमाग में कैसे आएगा as an examiner कि ये बना देते हैं? Let's create a new entity, new territory. ऐसा तो नहीं होता है. Secondly, it became illegal for a santhal to transfer land to a non-santhal. Even if you have not read this exact statement, try to link it to the concept. See, this was the entire thing ना कि भाई एक संथल है, ठीक है, अब ब्रिटिशर्स को उनकी लैंड चाहिए, मान लो, बट व्हाट दे वर डूइंग इज कि मान लो वो किसी और को अपनी लैंड दे रहे हैं, किसी और के अपने नाम कर दे रहे हैं, किसी ट्रेडर के, मर्चेंट के. ब्रिटिशर्स को चाहिए कि यही करते रहे, अपने को पैसा देते रहे, राइट? दैट इज द मेन पॉइंट. सो यहां पे इन्होंने क्या कर दिया ब्रिटिशर्स ने, आफ्टर सबसाइडिंग द संथल अपराइजिंग, कि भाई दोबारा ये ना हो, दे मेड इट इलीगल फॉर अ संथल टू ट्रांसफर लैंड टू नॉन संथल. If you know this concept, you are done. Correct? So, in this case, both 1 and 2 will be the answer. Correct? नहीं, so that is my point. अगर अपराइजिंग से पहले संथल परगना होता, अगर अपराइजिंग से पहले संथल परगना होता, इसका मतलब क्या होता? That the colonial government was already ruling the संथल area. क्योंकि संथल परगना गवर्नमेंट क्रिएट करेगी ना. At any point of time, government will create the संथल परगना, right? तो अपराइजिंग होगी, उसके बाद ही तो गवर्नमेंट उस पर एक्शन लेगी ना, एंड देन दे विल ब्रिंग अप सम मेजर्स. दैट इज वेयर यू हैव टू सी. ऐसे क्वेश्चन सिर्फ अगर गलत करवाएंगे तो टेस्ट सीरीज वाले कराएंगे. यूपीएससी वुड नेवर डू दैट. हाँ, वो मैं समझा ही रहा हूं आपको. प्रीलिम्स टेस्ट सीरीज विल नेवर सी सच थिंग्स. आपको हमेशा दिमाग कहां लगाना है? यूपीएससी पेपर्स में. बट स्टिल दैट वाज अ नॉलेज बेस्ड क्वेश्चन. Let us try and look. अच्छा, तो अब जो लोग पूछ रहे थे how to do research on such things, संथल अपराइजिंग, prepare it. देखो उसके और कौन कौन सी अपराइजिंग है. दिस इज अ मेजर हेडिंग है ना, मेजर हेडिंग है ना. संथल अपराइजिंग एक मेजर हेडिंग हो गई है, ट्राइबल अपराइजिंग एक मेजर हेडिंग हो गई है आपके लिए. यू हैव टू प्रिपेयर इट. करेक्ट? इसको दिमाग लगाओ. जस्ट कीप इट इन योर हेड. ठीक? Okay. Economically, one of the results of the British rule in India in the 19th century was the, ठीक है, ब्रिटिश रूल का रिजल्ट बताना है. सबसे आसान क्वेश्चन है, ब्रिटिश रूल का रिजल्ट बताना है. ब्रिटिशर्स ने कुछ अच्छा नहीं किया भारत के लिए. ब्रिटिशर्स नेवर डिड एनीथिंग गुड एंड इट विल ऑलवेज बी द सेम. आप देखोगे थ्रू एंड थ्रू. ओके, लेट अस हैव अ लुक. इंक्रीज इन द एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ इंडियन हैंडीक्राफ्ट. सोचो आप, इंडियन हैंडीक्राफ्ट्स को प्रमोट करेंगे ब्रिटिशर्स. इंडियन हैंडीक्राफ्ट इंडस्ट्री की कमर तोड़ दी थी. broke the back of Indian handicraft industry. So obviously this is going to be incorrect. Growth in the number of Indian owned factories. मतलब they are giving so much money to Indians that Indians will start owning factories. Obviously this is going to be incorrect. commercialization of the Indian agriculture and rapid increase in the urban population. No, even in the D part, there was a rapid rural migration. People started going back to rural areas. The markets depleted, the urban areas depleted. क्योंकि तुमने handicrafts खत्म कर दिए, तुमने industries खत्म कर दी. You just created India dumping market. So this is also wrong. So बहुत simple सी मेरी बात याद रखो. जहां पे भी आपको ये दिखे, please remember this through and through. Anywhere where you see that Britishers are being praised for something, it would most probably be an incorrect statement. Did we not see that in the charter, in the question around the Woods Dispatch? इसी पेपर में देखा है ना? तीनों के तीनों लेवल्स पे, all three levels English education is being provided. गलत था वो? था कि नहीं था? It will never be. Okay, so to remember this particular thing again. So Indian agriculture was commercialized. Obviously बात है ना? Commercial crops उगाने की बात कर दी instead of food crops, and that is why this answer is correct. Simple. सिर्फ समझोगे तो हो गया question. If the President of India exercises his power as provided under Article 356 of the Constitution in respect of a particular state, then, हाँ जी, direct from Lakshmikant, बिल्कुल simple सा question है. Assembly will be automatically dissolved. हाँ जी, बताइए. This is what I have been saying again and again, and then people who will not understand it will never understand it. I've been saying this continuously, that you will have to remove the spectacle that you have wore of skepticism. आपको चश्मा उतारना पड़ेगा. The power of the legislature of that state shall be exercisable by or under the authority of the parliament. ठीक है? Article 19 is suspended and the president can make law relating to that state. ठीक है? Clear? Very easy. Directly from Lakshmikant. What will be the answer to this particular question? Everybody knows this. कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है इसमें. This is very simple. Okay? The power of the legislature shall be exercisable by or under the authority of the parliament. ठीक है? समझ में आ गई बात? चलिए, let's move ahead. Consider the following pairs: Putukalli shawls, Sujni embroidery, and Upada Jamdani sarees. Ab again, as I said पहले भी, if you know these kind of questions, go for it. If you don't know them, skip them. No need to go for blind guesses. है ना? 5 to 6 questions of this sort can be skipped easily. Mostly वो questions आपको या तो directly factual मिलेंगे, बहुत ही history के depth knowledge से मिलेंगे, and you can completely avoid them. So it's completely okay. All right? Clear? So in this particular case, Sujni embroidery and Upada Jamdani sarees is given incorrect, and it is only the Putukalli shawls which is correct. Okay, so you just have to go and see if they belong to the GI tag category. If yes, just read about the GI tags that have recently been given. उसको कर लो. ठीक है? बात समझ में आ गई? Simple. चलो, let's move ahead. In which of the following areas can GPS technology be used? अब बताओ. Now tell me. In which of the following areas can GPS technology be used? Right? I've told you this in the earlier lectures as well, that whenever they will say this particular technology can be used, we can do this by using this technology, these will be very simple things. बहुत simple रहेगा ये सब ना. So here, mobile phone operations can be done. Yes. Banking operations can be done. Yes. Power grids can be controlled. Yes. You don't have to worry about it. You simply have to go about 1, 2, 3. My point is, whenever you start thinking against these things, you will always make mistakes. Always. So you don't have to start thinking against these things. है ना? अगर आप बैठ के सोचोगे कि जीपीएस से पावर ग्रिड का क्या लेना देना है, बस आप गए. You're gone. Your marks are gone. 2 plus the negative. Gone. कम स्मार्ट होना अच्छा होता है. ठीक है? ज्यादा दिमाग नहीं लगाना है. चले. Consider the following statements. The Reserve Bank of India manages and services the Government of India securities, but not any state government securities. Okay. लग रहा है कुछ weird? What did I tell you initially? That whenever a simple statement is made, it will be seen. And whenever this statement will purposefully be made typical, it will be seen. The Reserve Bank of India manages and services Government of India securities. यहाँ पे क्यों नहीं खत्म हो गया भाई statement? What was the need to introduce that it will not manage any state government security? और ये क्या होता है भाई यहाँ पे any state government क्यों है? What is this? मतलब ऐसा थोड़ी होगा कि some states are being handled by RBI and some are being avoided. This will not happen, right? Correct? तो ये तो नहीं होगा ना. So this particular statement will be wrong. And third thing, third logic, if not the RBI, who is going to handle the state government securities? Who is going to handle the state government securities? बताइए, समझ में आई बात? कोई और तो नहीं है ना. There is no other bank. करेक्ट. ऐसा तो नहीं है ना कि उत्तर प्रदेश का अपना एक रिजर्व बैंक है, ऐसा तो नहीं है ना. देन treasury bills are issued by the government of India and there are no treasury bills issued by the state government. There are no treasury bills issued by the state government. Then the next statement is treasury bills offered are issued at a discount from the par value. Now the third statement is completely based upon absolutely correct knowledge. You should know about it. You should know about treasury bills. Okay, you should know about treasury bills. This is a very generic topic of economy. I'll tell you specifically what you need to read in economy. Okay, I'll specifically tell you कहां से क्या पढ़ना है बहुत डिटेल में, और मैं इकोनॉमी पढ़ाऊंगा भी. ठीक है, I'll teach you economy. बात समझ आ गई? Okay, so this particular statement will be correct. एक डिस्काउंट वैल्यू पे मिलते हैं वो, and then you sell them at the par value. ठीक है, जितना पार वैल्यू था उस पे जाके आप उसको सेल कर दोगे. So the third statement is going to be correct. Let us have a look at the second statement. Treasury bills are issued by the government of India and there are no treasury bills issued by the state government. Now, treasury bill is specifically the prerogative of the government of India. अगर ये चीज नहीं पता है, this particular answer will go incorrect. ठीक है, ये चीज incorrect हो जाएगी. If you don't know this thing, that a treasury bill is a prerogative of the government of India. See, एक चीज और बताना चाहता हूं मैं आपको. Please note this down. This UPSC is doing this for the past 5-6 years now, but people have failed to realize this, that UPSC will bring two concepts in a single question. एक क्वेश्चन में दो कॉन्सेप्ट्स को खींच के लाएगा. What are the two concepts here? One concept is around a treasury bill and the other concept is around securities. What UPSC wants to check by doing this is, are you aware of the differences between securities and treasury bills? ये सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज आई समझ में? बात समझ आई? दिस इज हुआ नोटिस? इससे पहले कभी नोटिस कर रहे थे वाली चीज? वर यू नोटिसिंग दिस? वर यू नोटिसिंग दिस बिफोर दिस? This is what you need to realize. This is what you need to see, that there is a difference between securities and treasury bills. Securities can be issued by the state government and then those particular things will be handled by RBI, but treasury bills को state government issue ही नहीं कर सकते. ये ध्यान देना है. This is what you need to figure out, that this is the concept where that UPSC is checking. Aware हो जाना है whenever you read a question. Okay, so here the answer will be 2 and 3. All right, चलो, let us have a look at the next question. Very simple question. देख के नहीं डरना है. What did I say? That the tougher they look, the easier they fall. Let us have a look at this. Consider the following statements. The Earth's magnetic field has reversed every few 100,000 years. Look at the question. The Earth's magnetic field has reversed every few 100,000 years. Yeah, that is what I'm saying. You do not have to counter think, है ना? अर्थ का मैग्नेटिक फील्ड हर 1,00,000-2,00,000 साल में रिवर्स हो जाता है, is what the examiner is saying. Now the examiner is not saying that it is reversed in every 1,20,586 years. ऐसा तो नहीं बोल रहा है. There is no fact given here of that sort. This is just an approximation. और ये हमें पता ही है कि रिवर्स होता है. We have read this so many times. So you will never think of such statements as negative. These will always be correct. This is just approximation. बिल्कुल approximation है ये, है ना? You will see again and again such questions coming. Approximation है ये, right? एक क्वेश्चन देखोगे आप, ये मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा, शायद 2020 में है. मीथेन का कुछ क्वेश्चन है. मीथेन गेट्स कन्वर्टेड इनटू समथिंग in a decade or two. What is this? This is an approximation. This is not a data. That is what I'm saying. You have to focus. This is approximation, right? This is not data. So anybody who has done the 2018 paper, will that person not be able to solve this question in the 2022 paper just by understanding this particular concept? That Whenever an approximation is given, not a specific thing is not given, that particular thing is going to be correct, right? So this will be correct. When the earth was created more than 4,000 million years ago, there was 54% oxygen and no carbon dioxide. See, now this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. 4,000 million years ago, here what has happened? The examiner has given specific data. There was 54% oxygen, 54.19, 54.29, 54.39. Almost has not been written here. It is not saying almost 54% oxygen. No, exact बोल रहा है. It is saying exact 54% oxygen. Correct? No carbon dioxide. The examiner was sitting there to inhale it. है ना, एग्जामिनर ऐसे बैठा था वहां पे कि अभी देखूंगा कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड निकल के आ रही है कि नहीं आ रही. दैट डज नॉट हैपन ना, ये हो नहीं रहा है ना. So this particular statement will obviously be incorrect. When living organisms originated, they modified the early atmosphere of the earth. Very simple. Very simple. When living organisms originated, they modified the early atmosphere. यही मैं सिखाना चाह रहा हूँ. Please focus on this. They modified the early atmosphere. Yeah, obviously, anything when originating, an entire life form is originating, कुछ ना कुछ तो modification हो गई ना. They will inhale some gas, they will exhale some gas. कुछ तो करेंगे ना वो. Plants grow हो रहे हैं, कहीं animal grow हो रहे हैं, कहीं fish grow हो रही होगी, कुछ तो होगा. So some kind of modification will be there. The examiner is not exactly saying what has been modified or this particular atmosphere has been modified to 20%, 30%. कुछ नहीं बोल रहा है ऐसा. What is the examiner saying here? The examiner is saying that it was just modified. बस modify हुआ. आई बात समझ? आई बात समझ? So this particular statement will be correct. 1 and 3 will be your answer. Okay? समझ में आ गया सबको? Chalo, let's move ahead. The terms WannaCry, Petya, Eternal Blue, sometimes mentioned in news recently, are related to. So simple hai ye. These are attacks that were being done. These are cyber attacks that were being done. So ये तो simple है. You should know these things. These are basic news. उस टाइम के लोगों को पता था ये. आपके टाइम पे जो न्यूज में चल रहा है आपको वो पता होना चाहिए. So this is simple. Okay. चलिए, let's move ahead. With reference to circumstances in agriculture, the concept of conservation agriculture assumes significance. ध्यान से सुनो. With reference to the circumstances in Indian agriculture, the concept of conservation agriculture assumes significance. Which of the following falls under the conservation agriculture? Which of the following falls under conservation agriculture? इनमें से क्या conservation agriculture का part है? चलिए, let us read the questions one by one. Let us read these things one by one. First is avoiding the monoculture practices. Okay. Adopting minimum tillage. Avoiding the cultivation of plantation crops, using crop residue to cover soil surface, adopting spatial and temporal crop sequencing or crop rotations. Okay, chalo. How many, honestly batana, honestly bilkul, how many of you have read conservation agriculture in such detail? Sach batana, jhoot mat bolna. How many of you have read conservation agriculture in such detail? Batao meko, sach batao. Tell me, how many of you have read conservation agriculture in such detail? Tell me, honestly, honest answer. Honest answer चाहिए एकदम. How many of you have read conservation agriculture in such detail? नहीं पढ़ा है ना? Right? And you consider yourself a serious aspirant? At least I consider myself a serious aspirant. ठीक है, मेरा तो तीसरा इंटरव्यू कॉल है. मैं तो serious aspirant हूँ, थोड़ा बहुत तो हूँ. So I have not read the conservation agriculture concept in such detail. मैंने नहीं पढ़ा है. Okay? तो इसका मतलब क्या है? That you are going to leave this question examination में? Will you leave this question? नहीं ना? That is what the thumbnail of this video said. That there will be questions that are completely unknown to you. 50 such questions. Now the toppers are solving them. Those who are clearing prelims back to back are solving them. हमें भी तो पता होना चाहिए ना यार. हमें भी तो पता होना चाहिए ना कि वो लोग कैसे कर रहे हैं. समझाता हूं. रेडी सुनने के लिए ध्यान से सुनना. चलो. ओके. जब whenever I say, एक एक बात इसलिए बोल रहा हूं ना, एक एक बात ध्यान से सुननी है. Listen to every word that I'm saying very carefully. मैंने क्या बताया था in the first lecture itself. This part of the question is very important. You miss it. You read it भगा के पढ़ते हो आप. There was a student of mine, नाम ले लूंगा अभी, back in 2021. That student of mine cleared prelims for the first time. Okay. So before that, before 1 month before that, he was not scoring good. I said him to अपना paper भेज मेरे को scan करके. I asked him to send me his paper. He sent it. I identified something in his paper. Told him he cleared prelims with a good margin that year. क्या identify किया मैंने? What did I identify? I identified that he was using pen when he's reading the question, but only on the options. यहाँ पे बस ऐसे छोटा छोटा सा कुछ मारा and आगे बढ़ गया. This is a mistake that each one of you is making. Each one of you is making this mistake. So what you will do is you will start reading this question and you will be like, अच्छा अच्छा conservation agriculture, okay, कौन कौन सा इसके fall under करता है, ठीक है देख लेंगे. Now while doing this, what have you missed? You have missed this thing. ये मिस कर दिया आपने. अगर मैं आपको बोलूं this is the answer to the question, मानोगे बात मेरी? If I tell you this is the answer to the question, here from here the answer to the question will come, will you accept it? दिखाऊं जादू देखोगे? Ready to see the magic? चलो. So it is saying with reference to circumstances in Indian agriculture. Indian agriculture is going through some circumstances. There are some circumstances that have emerged in the Indian agriculture. In reference to that, you have to see something. Okay? अब ये भूल जाओ, forget it, भूल जाओ इसे. You just क्योंकि ये तो पता ही नहीं है, ये तो हमें पता ही नहीं है. नाम से पता चल रहा है that is something good, है ना? Conservation agriculture significant चीज है, बढ़िया चीज है. अब भूल जाओ इसको. Forget about it. Just focus on the fact that Indian agriculture में कुछ circumstances हैं, उसके according there is a good practice that has come up. We have to tell what are those good practices. चलो, let us have a look. First, avoiding the monoculture practices. Avoiding monoculture practices. Adopting minimum tillage. Adopting minimum tillage. हर सब लोगों ने पढ़ा है ये. Everybody has read it. That adopting minimum tillage is a good thing. Each one of you have read this. कि भाई soil को ज्यादा dig मत करो. Don't dig the soil too much. Right? Everybody has read this now. Then avoiding the cultivation of plantation crops. Using crop residue to cover soil surface. ये भी सबने पढ़ा है. Everybody has read this in environment. That using crop residue to cover the soil surface, इससे बहुत सारे फायदे होते हैं. It gives manure, it stops evaporation, it holds the water back. Correct? ठीक है? So this is one thing. Then adopting spatial and temporal crop sequencing, crop rotation. Each one of you have read this. सबने पढ़ा है. Everybody has read this. कि crop rotation अच्छी चीज होती है. Clear? Everybody knows this. Crop rotation. Correct? चलो. 2, 4, 5 ये समझ में आ गया. Let us have a look at the options. 2, 4, 5 कहाँ दिख रहा है? बस दो ऑप्शंस में दिख रहा है. वो भी छोड़ो. For people, छोड़ो, leave it. For people who are continuously saying कि सर 23 में तो पेयरिंग आ गई है, 23 में तो पेयरिंग आ गई है, how do we do such questions in 23, how do we do such questions in 23? Okay, let us have a look. If you don't know the options, है ना, हमें नहीं पता है क्या ऑप्शंस है, हमें नहीं पता है, let us just have a look at the statements. Okay, clear? चलो, let us just have a look at the statements. Now, avoiding monoculture practices. सबको पता है ये that it is something that avoiding monoculture practice and avoiding cultivation of plantation crops. Avoiding monoculture practices and avoiding cultivation of plantation crops. We have all been reading about these things. कि भाई avoiding the cultivation of plantation crops is a right thing to do considering Indian agriculture, because plantation crops takes up a lot of area, and in India we do not have that big areas. Right? Third नहीं आएगा statement में. Third will not be there. You are done with this. What is your answer? I've been saying this again and again. Now comes the last thing. Avoiding the monoculture practices. The only point is that if you know that this is a practice that can be adopted, but in Indian circumstances, we are not always able to avoid the monoculture practice. हमें Indian context में monoculture practice को लेना पड़ेगा. We have to take it. We are not that rich. Our farmers are not that rich that we are always able to take various practices parallelly. Correct? So this particular thing will not be correct. It will not be in the answer. बात समझ में आई? Avoiding monoculture. एक second. Am I clearly audible to all of you? Am I clearly audible to all of you? Please, am I audible? It is showing that I am buffering. Am I audible and visual? Please confirm once. Am I audible and visual to all of you? एक बार confirm करिए please सब. Am I audible and visual to all of you? It is showing buffering on my part. Please confirm me once. अच्छा ठीक है. It's all fine. Okay. ठीक है, we'll continue. चलो, I'll teach you this again. Okay, what I was saying is with reference to circumstances in Indian agriculture. The circumstances, there are some circumstances in Indian agriculture. उनके हिसाब से you have to do conservation agriculture or you have to do some particular practice which is of a lot of significance. ठीक है? What are those things that you can do? You can adopt minimum tillage in India, very easy. You can use crop residue to cover soil surface, very easy in India. You can do crop rotation also in India, very easy. But now growing plantation crops, avoiding the cultivation of plantation crops for Indian agriculture, correct, and avoiding the monoculture practices. These are things that we will have to adhere to. That we will have to avoid monoculture practices and we will have to avoid plantation crops. ये हमें करनी चाहिए, but are we able to do this? Are we able to avoid these kind of practices? Is the question. Is where you will understand कि भाई circumstances कैसे हैं Indian agriculture में. You will not be able to avoid these things. These are idle practices. These are good things. But you will not be able to avoid them. Plantation crop अच्छी चीज है, ठीक है, आप उसको अवॉइड क्यों करोगे? And specifically in the Indian circumstance, then this is even more important. नहीं, वो तो ठीक है, avoiding is minimizing, that is okay, we will not go there. In this particular case, avoiding the monoculture practices, यहां पे आपको ध्यान देना है. हाँ, नहीं, don't go there. Avoiding is okay, avoiding is minimizing, ठीक है, don't worry about that. Understood? So in this particular case, you will reach to that only 3 statements suits the Indian circumstance of agriculture, the Indian agriculture circumstance. अरे पीडीएस पे कहां चले गए? पीडीएस, वी आर नॉट डिस्कसिंग पीडीएस. हु इज आस्किंग पीडीएस हियर? Okay, now comes the next question. The term sixth mass extinction or sixth extinction is often seen in news in the context of the discussion. So as जितना लंबा दिखेगा वो उतना सिंपल है. What will be sixth extinction? यार obvious ही बात है. So again, see, it will say कि monoculture practices हो जाएंगी, अर्थ पे कुछ गिर जाएगा, कि there will be large, then genetically modified crop बहुत ज्यादा आ जाएंगी. ये सब चीजें are vague. क्या चल रहा है अभी, किस चीज के बारे में बात हो रही है? ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट चेंज, है ना. ये सब चीजें यार सुपरफिशियल एंड फैंसी. बिल्कुल नहीं है, बिल्कुल सिंपल देखो. लुक एट द मोस्ट सिंपलेस्ट ऑफ थिंग्स, यू विल सी ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट चेंज इज समथिंग दैट विल बी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. क्लियर? एंड यू विल बी मार्किंग दिस पर्टिकुलर आंसर, है ना. डायनासोर मर गए, ये हो गया, वो हो गया, ऑल ऑफ दैट यू डोंट नीड टू वरी. ठीक है, समझ में आया? सो दिस पर्टिकुलर स्टेटमेंट डी विल बी करेक्ट. यू जस्ट हैव टू लुक एट दिस केयरफुली. डरना मत लंबा क्वेश्चन देख के, डरना मत बिल्कुल भी लंबा क्वेश्चन देख के. Then, with reference to IRNSS, consider the following statements. IRNSS has 3 satellites in geostationary, 4 satellites in geosynchronous. Hanji, what have I taught you? What have I taught you regarding such things? IRNSS covers entire India and about 5,500 square kilometer beyond its border. India will have its own satellite navigation system with full global coverage by the middle of 2019. Such a funny statements. UPSC is making such funny statements that you will be very easily able to identify such things. ठीक है, let us have a look at this particular thing. सबसे पहले let us look at the most weird thing here. India will have its own satellite navigation system with full global coverage by the middle of 2019. This paper was held in the middle of 2018, and it is saying that just in 2019, just in the end of 2019, you will have a full global coverage. So obviously this particular statement will be incorrect, है ना. अभी तो हम इंडिया कवर नहीं कर पा रहे, इट इज ग्लोबल कवरेज, है ना. यूएसए हर जगह आपका कवरेज हो जाएगा. ऑब्वियसली दिस विल बी एन इनकरेक्ट स्टेटमेंट. ठीक है, थर्ड इनकरेक्ट है. नाउ देयर आर दीज टू स्टेटमेंट्स. अच्छा, नन आंसर होता नहीं है. व्हेनेवर यू विल सी यूपीएससी मेकिंग स्टेटमेंट्स, हद से हद इट कैन बी नीदर 1 and 2. नीदर 1 and 2 आंसर हो सकता है. नन इज नेवर एन आंसर कि तीन स्टेटमेंट्स बना दिए, तीनों गलत बना दिए. दैट नेवर हैपेंस. ये नहीं होता है. दैट विल बी वेरी स्टूपिड थिंग टू डू. ओके, इट इज जस्ट गिविंग दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग हियर, बट इट विल नेवर बी थिंग कि भाई तीन स्टेटमेंट्स बना रहा है, तीनों गलत बना दे रहा है. सो नाउ either this statement will be correct or this statement will be correct. Either of 1 and 2 has to be correct, but both of them have data. Now you have to see that. Now you have to use your understanding here. IRNS covers entire India and 5500 square kilometer beyond its border. यही है, यही this is where you have to understand. ये इंडिया, ठीक है, इतना तो कवर कर ही रहा है. Now 5500 square kilometer, 5500 square kilometer beyond India, 5500 square kilometer beyond India. This is high, मतलब this is next to like already हो गया है. This is like already we have covered it. We have already gone global scale. इतना बड़ा coverage, 5500 square kilometer. So ये वाला भी आसान है. This is also very easy. You can do 3 here, 4 here. You can do 2, 1, कुछ भी कर सकते हो. So either this will be wrong or this will be wrong. Now, if you will be able to use this particular understanding of yours, that at max it is, and no, read it carefully. It is not even that. It is not even that कि पूरा वर्ल्ड कवर कर दिया है. नहीं है ऐसा. Read even that. We do not, आज तक भी नहीं है. Even today we do not have this. Right? Even today we do not have this. इसको पेपर को तो 5-6 साल हो गए हैं, आज भी नहीं है. ये 5.5 साल हो गए हैं, आज भी नहीं है. Let alone that. 5500 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर बहुत बड़ी बात होती है. मतलब हर डायरेक्शन में 5500 किलोमीटर चले जाओ. इट इज वेरी बिग. बहुत बड़ा है भाई. इंटरकॉन्टिनेंटल बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल्स भी इतनी नहीं जाती, या मैक्सिमम इस रेंज पे जाती होंगी. सो दिस विल बी वेरी ह्यूज. सो दिस पर्टिकुलर स्टेटमेंट और दिस पर्टिकुलर स्टेटमेंट कोई भी इनकरेक्ट बन सकता है. इफ यू आर एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई दिस इन द पेपर, देन इट्स ओके. नॉलेज वाला है. Here you need the basic knowledge or basic understanding that this is really huge. Okay, but if you mark one only, then also there is no issue here. मतलब अगर आप see, that is the whole point. If you know that none answer नहीं होगा, 2 and 3, third तो incorrect है, नहीं होगा. Now only either 1 or either 2 will be correct. So दोनों भी नहीं हो सकते है ना. So you already know the answer to it. समझो अब इस चीज को. नाउ पीपल हु विल से दैट अगर ये पेयरिंग वाले में आ जाएगा तो कैसे होगा, तो और भी सिंपल है ना ये तो. देन यू डोंट नीड टू नो. फिर तो ये और भी सिंपल हो गया ना. देन यू इवन डोंट नीड टू नो व्हिच ऑफ दीस स्टेटमेंट्स इज करेक्ट. इफ 1 इज करेक्ट और 2 इज करेक्ट, कोई एक भी करेक्ट होगा एंड यू आर डन. आपको ये तो पता है ना दैट ईदर ऑफ दीज विल बी करेक्ट. सो यू जस्ट हैव टू मार्क द आंसर एज ओनली वन ऑफ दीज विल बी करेक्ट. आया समझ? सो इन पेयरिंग सच क्वेश्चंस विल बिकम इवन इजियर. और ज्यादा आसान हो जाएंगे. समझो ये चीज, ठीक है? क्लियर? सो हियर द आंसर विल बी 1 ओनली. पेयरिंग में तो और आसान हो जाएगा ये. अरे 1 and 2 कांट भी. दोनों कैसे सही हो सकते हैं? दोनों में डेटा थोड़ी करेक्ट दे देगा. दोनों में डेटा करेक्ट नहीं देगा ना. पेयरिंग में तो ये और आसान है. करेक्ट? चलिए, इसलिए कह रहा हूं शांति रखो, सब हो जाएगा. Okay, we have 5000 people live with us right now. Amazing feed, guys. थोड़ा थोड़ा नंबर कम होते जा रहा है. So I'm seeing that people are not being that consistent. धीरे धीरे it will wither away. देखना आप लास्ट तक जाते जाते नंबर आएगा कम. मेरा एक्सपीरियंस तो यही है. तो अभी मुझे ये देखना है कि एस्पायरेंट ज्यादा सीरियस हो गए हैं या फिर क्या चल रहा है. ओके, या फिर वही है, वही सब इनकंसिस्टेंट एस्पायरेंट ही है अभी भी. ओके, कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग फिनोमेना. लाइट इज अफेक्टेड बाय ग्रेविटी. सी लुक एट दिस हाउ. सी देखते नहीं पता चल रहा क्या आपको अब? आर यू नॉट एबल टू जस्ट लुक एट दिस एंड मार्क इट करेक्ट? लाइट इज अफेक्टेड बाय ग्रेविटी बिल्कुल नहीं बोल रहा है. कितनी अफेक्टेड? 10% अफेक्टेड, 20% अफेक्टेड, 50% अफेक्टेड. बिल्कुल नहीं बोल रहा है. सिंपल. लाइट इज अफेक्टेड बाय ग्रेविटी. द यूनिवर्स इज कॉन्स्टेंटली एक्सपैंडिंग. अगेन सिंपल. एट नो, कुछ ऐसे नहीं बोल रहा है इट इज एक्सपैंडिंग एट दिस रेट, दैट रेट, कुछ नहीं. मैटर रैप्स इट्स सराउंडिंग स्पेस एंड टाइम. भाई you can see this. So even if this particular thing comes in the examination, क्या गलत करोगे इसमें से? नहीं पता आपको, ऑप्शंस नहीं है नीचे वाले ऑप्शंस. व्हाट विल यू मेक इनकरेक्ट भाई? इसमें से क्या इनकरेक्ट करोगे? इसमें से बोलोगे ना कि all three pairs are correct, all three things are correct, all three options are correct. So समझो इस चीज को कि पेयरिंग वेयरिंग से बहुत ज्यादा फर्क पड़ता नहीं है. वो बात क्या हुई ना, द इशू वॉज कि एक शॉक फैक्टर होता है. मैंने जब प्रीलिम्स के बाद प्रीलिम्स एनालिसिस दिया था, उसमें भी आई रेफर्ड दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग. एग्जामिनेशन में शॉक फैक्टर बहुत हाई होता है. बट अब तो आपको पता है ना यार. आई हैव बीन टीचिंग दिस अगेन एंड अगेन टू यू ना. ठीक है, बात समझ में आई? अरे हाँ, तो कॉन्स्टेंटली एक्सपेंडिंग है ना यार. तो बिल्कुल सही है ना. इसका उल्टा क्या है? पीपल हु आर थिंकिंग, सी दिस इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, ये ओवर थिंकिंग है. पीपल हु विल थिंक कि ये स्टेटमेंट इनकरेक्ट है, वो क्या सोचेंगे? इसीलिए कह रहा हूं वर्ड्स पकड़ना कम करो. रिड्यूस योर obsession with words. Understand the concept. The opposite of it will be the universe is expanding every second day. The universe is expanding every third day. Obviously that will be incorrect ना यार. Every second, every third day कैसे हो सकता है? नहीं होगा ना. हाँ, तो वही समझा रहा हूं. उसका उल्टा देखो ना फिर. Look at the opposite of it. ठीक है, समझ आ गया? Understood? चलो, you have all three here correct. Let's move ahead. With reference to genetically modified crop GM mustard developed in India, consider the following statements. GM mustard has the genes of a soil bacterium that give the plant the property of pest resistance to a wide variety of pests. GM mustard has the genes that allow the plant cross pollination and hybridization. GM mustard has been developed jointly by the IARI and Punjab Agricultural University. Now, in such particular statements, आपको देखते ही पता चलना चाहिए. Even if you do not know the options, है ना, पेयरिंग ही है, आपको नहीं पता है, but you know that this is going to be incorrect. Why would it give two universities or two institutions correct when it is very easy to make them incorrect? कहीं से तो गलत बनाना पड़ेगा ना. It was only the shock factor. Come out of it now. Come out of that shock factor now. Okay? So this particular statement will be incorrect. Either of these should not be there. And actually में यही है. It was Delhi University that did it, not the Punjab Agricultural University. बात समझ में आई? So third statement will be incorrect. GM mustard has the genes that allow plant cross pollination and hybridization. genes तो आप डालते इस चीज के लिए हो ना कि कुछ फायदा होगा. There will be something better. So it can allow cross pollination. It can allow hybridization. Cross pollination होगी तो hybridization होना तो वैसे भी relevant हो जाता है. It goes in line with hybridization, right? Correct? तो this particular thing should be correct. ये तो आसान है. This is going simply in line with what we have read. Now, this GM mustard has the genes of a soil bacterium that gives the plant the property of pest resistance to a wide variety of pests. Actually, this was not pest resistance. And that is why to put this in your head कि नहीं भाई ये सही है, what the examiner will do it will try to convince you कि हाँ, pest resistance to a wide variety of pests, बहुत सारे variety of pests. Correct? बात समझ में आ रही है? Correct? Understood? So wide variety of pests कभी नहीं, वो फालतू चीज है. So this will be that. It was actually, maybe शायद it is insect resistance, I'm not very sure, but if you are not sure in the examination, you will focus on this. Okay? Clear? So here, this will be incorrect. Examination में you can be confused in it. I understand this. ठीक है? It's okay. जितना पढ़े में से आ रहा है ठीक है, बाकी एप्टीट्यूड लगाना है, कट ऑफ क्लियर हो जाएगी. 200 में से 200 तो स्कोर करना नहीं है. डू नॉट हैव टू स्कोर 200. हमें आगे लेके जाना है. नहीं, वाइड वैरायटी कोई स्कीम नहीं. इट इज नॉट सेइंग ऑल द वैरायटीज ऑफ पेस्ट्स. नहीं, वाइड वैरायटी तो सिंपल है. दैट इज नॉट एक्सट्रीम. गलत चीजें नहीं सीखनी है. Herbicide resistance, correct, correct. Not even insecticide, it is herbicide resistance. Correct, correct, correct. Absolutely correct. Correct. हाँ, तो उसी चीज पे उसने टारगेट किया. Correct. So in these three things, only one statement is correct, which is two only. Now this is very easy. Blockchain technology is about what? CRISPR-Cas9 is about what? And Bell experiment is around what? Very easy. सबको पता होना चाहिए. These are basic concepts of physics, basic concepts of science. There is nothing big in it. सबको पता है ये चीजें. Everybody knows this, right? Not a big deal. Only this particular statement is going to be correct. Bell experiment is not around AI, it is around physics, and CRISPR-Cas9 is about genes, not about particle physics. So these will be incorrect. अब बताओ, tell me, इसमें options का क्या लेना देना है? Ultimately यही है ना, यही देख रहे हो ना. This is what you are looking at. Ultimately you are looking at this, right? Not looking at anything else. You're just looking at this. So your answer will be only one of these is correct. आगे बात समझ में? चलिए. Consider the following statements which best describes carbon fertilization. Carbon fertilization का best description क्या है? Okay, carbon fertilization. Read it carefully. Carbon fertilization. Carbon fertilization. ठीक है? Increased plant growth due to increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. दिख रहा है? CO2 बढ़ा, उसकी वजह से plant growth is increasing. Because of CO2 increase, plant growth is increasing. यही तो बोल रहा है. कार्बन बढ़ने की वजह से फर्टिलाइजेशन हो रहा है, ज्यादा ग्रोथ हो रही है. यही तो बोल रहा है. But then look at the other options as well. Increased temperature of earth due to increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. इसको क्या बोलते हैं? This is called greenhouse warming effect, right? Increased acidity of oceans as a result of the increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. This is called acidification. Adaptation of all living beings on the earth to climate change brought about by the increased concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. It is called adaptation itself. By fertilize कहाँ हो रहा है? Oceans are not being fertilized, their acidity is increasing. Earth is not being fertilized, its temperature is increasing. Humans are not being fertilized, they are just adapting, they are just evolving. Fertilized तो यही हो रहा है ना. Plants are being fertilized, growth is happening. Growth हो रही है बस. Simple. A. करेक्ट. हुआ एग्जामिनेशन में हॉल में बैठ के. डरना नहीं है पेपर से. द हार्डर दे लुक द इजियर दे फॉल. द हार्डर दे लुक द इजियर दे फॉल. Okay, don't have to worry about such things. Chalo. Now this is a very long statement. I'll not read this entirely for you. It is about Internet of Things. बहुत सिंपल सी चीज है. Whenever you read this, Internet of Things, आपके घर का दरवाजा खुल जाएगा, आप आओगे तो ये हो जाएगा, तो वो हो जाएगा. Very simple. It is just about Internet of Things. Okay. Chalo. Then let's move ahead. With reference to solar power production in India, consider the following statements. Let's look at solar power production of India. Okay. India is the third largest in the world in the manufacture of silicon wafers used in photovoltaic units. भाई साहब, सारा तो import करते हैं. If India is so good at producing or manufacturing silicon wafers, फिर तो हमारा सब issue ही solve हो जाएगा. Obviously not. This is not correct. India lacks a lot in this. बहुत ज्यादा हम import करते हैं. The solar power tariffs are determined by the Solar Energy Corporation of India. Again, right? Easy for the examiner to make it incorrect. Very easy for the examiner to make it incorrect. So, in this particular thing, we will have neither as the answer. अब बताओ मुझे, what has, इससे क्या है? इसका क्या लेना देना है? If you see this in the examination, then also it remains same ना भाई. इसको ऐसे देखो. Let me clear your, जिनको लोगों को डर लग रहा है ना बहुत ही ज्यादा. Suppose a third statement is here. Solar energy. India is targeting solar energy through One Sun, One World, One Grid project and International Solar Alliance. ठीक है? Suppose करो this is the statement. All right. Now, if the regular options are there, only one pair is correct, only two statements are correct, only three statements are correct, none of the statement is correct. अभी मुझे बताओ, don't you know this thing, and don't you know that these things are wrong? So how does it matter what the options are in this case? आया समझ? क्लियर हुआ? So this is just simple. हाँ, confusion उन लोगों को होगा ना. See, that is what I'm saying. Confusion. If you have not read it, if you have not read who decides solar power tariffs, why are you assuming that it will be some random organization whose name is given? Solar Energy Corporation of India doesn't decide solar tariffs, bhai. At max, what it will do is promote solar energy, promote solar power. Look at the like how fluid solar power is. This corporations है यार, corporation है, गवर्नमेंट ने कॉर्पोरेशन बनाई है. इट विल नॉट, कॉर्पोरेशन है, कॉर्पोरेशन. A corporation will not decide solar power tariffs, right? Specifically solar energy के लिए. हाँ वही institution organizations, these are very easy to be made incorrect, right? Very easy. It is very easy for these things to make wrong. Organizations वगैरह गलत डालना बहुत आसान होता है. Okay? Clear? समझ में आ गया? So the answer will be easy. The staple commodities of export by the English East India Company from Bengal in the middle of the 18th century. Whenever you such a date, write it. Middle of 18th century means 1750s के आसपास. Okay. So during 1750s, the staple commodities of export by the English East India Company from Bengal were which? इनमें से क्या कर रहा था export? What was the English East India Company exporting from Bengal in 1750s? What was being exported? बताइए. So now see, this can also be solved if you look at it carefully. अगर आपको सब नहीं भी पता है, कुछ चीजें इसमें से पता होंगी, you will know about some particular thing. For example, opium, it has always been exported from India. Cotton has always been exported from India. Oil seeds, India is still importing oil seeds. तो oil seeds कैसे बाहर जा सकते हैं? Then salt, yes, salt can be like exported from India. ठीक है. Zinc, lead, भाई lead. How can lead be there? Lead India export नहीं कर सकता है. So here oil seeds will go incorrect. Here lead will go incorrect. Copper, silver, gold spices बिल्कुल इंडिया से एक्सपोर्ट होंगी. चलो टी भी एक्सपोर्ट होगा, बट गोल्ड, इंडिया will export gold in 1750s. Obviously this is not going to be the answer. Cotton, yes. Silk, yes. Opium, yes. Even if you don't know what saltpeter is, but still you can go with this particular answer. आ गई बात समझ में? हुआ क्वेश्चन सॉल्व? टेल मी, बताओ मुझे. हाँ जी बताइए, हुआ क्वेश्चन सॉल्व? And my second question to you is, if you want to observe carefully, out of these three options, इन तीनों में कोई भी ऐसा टफ पॉइंट नहीं है. देयर इज नो टफ लुकिंग और वियर्ड लुकिंग पॉइंट है. इसमें सॉल्ट पीट्रे, सॉल्ट पेटर, जो भी इसको बोलते हैं, लिख रखा है स्पेसिफिकली. कीप इट सिंपल ना भाई, कीप इट सिंपल. If this is not the answer, why are you thinking of saltpeter? Right? ये चीज समझाता आ रहा हूं. This is when you look carefully. Look carefully. Okay, which of one of the following is a very significant aspect of the चंपारण सत्याग्रह? चंपारण सत्याग्रह का एक बहुत ही significant वो क्या है? So even without reading, you should know that it was around that Gandhiji finally brought the peasant unrest to India's national movement. इसमें कुछ नहीं है. You should be very like on the spot with these things. ये बहुत easy चीजें हैं. चंपारण सत्याग्रह, स्वदेशी, ये सब चीजें, चंपारण सत्याग्रह, खेड़ा सत्याग्रह, अहमदाबाद मिल स्ट्राइक, everything very easy. Akshaya is saying, guys, please like the session. Thank you, Akshaya. That is very kind of you. मेरी बात नहीं सुन रहे तो चलो अक्षय की सुन लो. All right. Okay, let's go to 70. मैं भूल ही जाता हूँ कि मुझे ये बोलना है. I forget about it, that I have to say such a thing. Okay. Which of the following were the founders of the Hind Mazdoor Sabha established in the 1948? Again, you don't need to do such questions. If you don't know them, you can just simply skip them. If you know them, if you have read them, the strategy of modern industry that I'm going to give you will be the best strategy that you have ever had. You follow that and you will be able to solve the questions that are required. Okay? ठीक है? समझ में आई बात? So you can skip such kind of questions. With reference to the religious practices in India, Sthanakvasi sect belongs to Jainism. I've specifically told you this. बताया मैंने ये that in the ancient medieval art and culture lecture that came yesterday कि Jainism से क्या पूछता है? Sects. लिखा था ना मैंने? Sects as an important point. So this will be sthanakvasi sect will be a key area, a highlight. Sects is a highlight. Similarly, Buddhism say schools, Vaishnavism, Shaivism, Advait Vedant. Questions are being asked from here, right? Chosat Yogini temple was asked. That is a Shaivite thing. And then Atharvaved, etc. Advaitvad was asked this particular year. All right. So I'll teach you. I'll teach the entire Shad Darshan. है ना, आधे घंटे में पढ़ाऊंगा. Lecture I'll put on the YPLP group. Just look at that and you will be done. Okay. With reference to cultural history of India, consider the following statements. White marble was used in the making of Buland Darwaza and Khanka at Fatehpur Sikri. Red sandstone and marble were used in the making of the Bada Imam Pada and Rumi Darwaza at Lucknow. Okay, this is a question where galat karo, make it wrong. Make it wrong. Okay, हमें चाहिए. We need minus 0.67 in such questions because this is a stupid question. It is saying that white marble was used in the making of Buland Darwaza and Khanka, and red stone and marble were used in the making of Bada Imam Pada and Rumi Darwaza. Okay, as per UPSC, neither of them is correct. भाई ये नहीं है. I don't think that you can ever mark this question correct. So what will happen is because of these questions, the cutoff drops. The cutoff in 2017 was 105 and the cutoff in 2018 was 98. ऐसे questions की वजह से, because of such questions, nobody can mark such questions correct. Nobody can mark such questions correct. You never read it in so many detail. मैं भी पढ़ाऊंगा तो भी ऐसे ही पढ़ाऊंगा कि यार ठीक है, हो सकता है ना थोड़ा बहुत वाइट मार्बल यूज हुआ हो सकता है ना थोड़ा बहुत रेड सैंडस्टोन, थोड़ा बहुत मार्बल यूज हुआ. आई हैव पर्सनली विजिटेड बड़ा इमाम बाड़ा इन लखनऊ यार, मेरे को दिखाया वहां पे रेड सैंडस्टोन. सो हाउ विल, that will be very tough. Okay, Navya is saying that let's not forget to like the session. Let's recognize the hard work. Navya is a very dear friend and a very dear student. Okay, a long existing support. खैर, so in this particular, make it wrong, है ना, करो इसको गलत, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. Make it wrong, no issues at all. चलिए, let's move ahead to question number 73. Which one of the following foreign travelers elaborately discussed about diamonds and diamonds mine of India? Again, skippable. If you have not read it, completely skip it. बिल्कुल टेंशन मत लो. However, this question has its roots in PYQs. So PYQs जब दिखाऊंगा, I'll tell you that this particular question is something that has been somewhere mentioned in the PYQs. I'm not very sure, but has been somewhere mentioned. Okay. So this particular thing will be, you can skip these kind of questions. With reference to Indian history, who among the following is a future Buddha yet to come and save the world? I have specifically said Nitin Singhania. Which chapters you have to read? This has specifically been told in yesterday's lecture. है ना, कल ही बताया था, right? I've told about this yesterday. So here the answer will be Maitreya, right? Okay, simple. In Nitin Singhania, the chapters that I have mentioned in the lecture yesterday, if you have not watched it, do watch it. नहीं तो पढ़ते रह जाओगे, पूरे नितिन सिंघानिया हो गया फिर आपका. In the high yielding area of Nitin Singhania, specifically told that this particular chapter is important, Jainism and Buddhism, and वहीं से question sourced है, उसमें दिया है, as it is दिया है. Read it and you will be done with it. Which one of the following statements does not apply to the system of subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley? Again, history question, basic question, subsidiary alliance. We all of us read about it. To maintain a large standing army at others' expense. Obviously, this was one of the things that he wanted. So not apply, पूछ रहा है, right? He wanted this to keep India safe from Napoleonic danger. Again, one particular thing. To establish British paramountcy over Indian states. Yes, it was. To secure a fixed income for the company. There was no income that they were taking here. There was no income that they were taking under subsidiary alliance. They were not taking any particular income under subsidiary alliance, right? They were not taking it. So this particular statement will be the answer. There was no fixed income that the Britishers were taking under subsidiary alliance. All right, this is as it is given in spectrum. People keep on asking, what do we have to read? What do we have to read for modern India? I'll tell you specifically the chapters and areas which are important from spectrum. Read them and we'll be done with it. Notes भी दे दूंगा most probably. उतना कर लो, बहुत हो जाएगा. ठीक है, चलिए. Which of the following led to the introduction of English education in India? English education इसमें से किस चीजों की वजह से आया है? हाँ जी. I'll not answer this question. You go ahead and answer this question for me. Chalo, you tell me the answer to this particular question. Let's see how many of you have developed the aptitude. Which of the following led to the introduction of English education in India? Led to English education in India. इनमें से किसकी वजह से इंडिया में इंग्लिश एजुकेशन आया? Let me see how, मैंने आपको कितना पढ़ाया है. इनमें से किसकी वजह से इंग्लिश एजुकेशन आया है इंडिया में? इनमें से किसकी वजह से इंडिया में इंग्लिश एजुकेशन आया है? लेट मी सी हाउ क्या पढ़ाया मैंने आप लोगों को? डी 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 ऑल डी ऑल, डी 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 ऑल। बीच में किसी ने एक ने सी बोला है, डी डी ऑल। ठीक है, गुड। दिस मीन्स आई एम टीचिंग यू करेक्टली। ओके, पहले भी बोला है मैंने, एजुकेशन इज अ वेरी हाईली इंपॉर्टेंट थीम। एजुकेशन, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, these are very highly important themes from modern India. I'll tell you the high link areas of modern India as and when I take that lecture after the AMC is done. All right, so obviously all is going to be the answer here, obvious है बिल्कुल। It is just saying English education से related अगर एक भी provision दिया है, okay, I can see Priya Dagar ma'am is also here managing everything, thanks to her as well. So even if one particular thing, even if one particular provision is given related to English education, related to the introduction of English education in these provisions or in these controversies, it will be in the answer, bhai, as simple as that, right? You don't have to sit and read the entire Charter Act. आपको क्या लग रहा है एग्जामिनर बैठ के पूरा Charter Act I was about to say एग्जामिनर के पूरा Charter Act चार्टर पे बैठ के, but then I thought कि नहीं बोलना चाहिए, but शायद मैंने बोल ही दिया। Okay, खैर, तो obviously nobody is reading the entire Charter Act यार, है ना? Nobody is reading the entire instructions of the General Committee of Public Instruction. Nobody is doing that. They just simply look and simply move ahead. Okay, which one of the following is an artificial lake? Tell me, is it easy to make an artificial lake in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh? Is it easy? Is it easy to make artificial lakes in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh? बताओ। Is it easy to make artificial lakes in उत्तराखंड एंड हिमाचल प्रदेश? पहाड़ों में आर्टिफिशियल लेक बनाने की जरूरत भी है क्या? फर्स्ट थिंग, इज देयर एनी नीड टू डू सो? एंड सेकंड, इज इट इजी? नो, राइट? देन कोलेरू के बारे में किस किस को पता है? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव रेड कोलेरू लेक एंड वेयर हैव यू रेड इट? बताओ, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू हैव रेड कोलेरू लेक एंड वेयर हैव यू रेड इट? बताओ फटाफट। सबको पता है कोलेरू लेक इज अ नॉर्मल लेक, इट इज अ natural lake, it is not an artificial lake, right? Everybody knows this, it is very famous, every UPSC aspirant knows this। क्या बचा आंसर? जो बचा वो आंसर हो गया, कोडाई कैनाल। आया समझ? समझ आ गया? How do you do these things? Now comes the, अब मैजिक दिखाता हूं। Why is examiner mentioning these things? क्यों मेंशन कर रहा है? Why can't he or she simply write कोडाई कैनाल, कोलेरू लेक, नैनीताल, रेणुका? Why is the examiner not just writing these things? ये इतना क्यों नहीं लिख रहा है? Why specifically mentioning the state? क्यों mention कर रहा है state? That is what I'm saying. If you lose your focus and concentration in the exam hall, you are doomed. You are doomed. You are gone. ध्यान देना, एक्सट्रीम ध्यान देना, एक्सट्रीम ध्यान, you have to very focus in the examination hall. अरे पोचिंग वालों को तो पोच ही कर देंगे, पोचिंग वालों को पोच कर देंगे यार, उसकी टेंशन नहीं लो आप। Don't worry about that. Okay, ठीक है? So this particular thing is extremely important. Don't forget that you should have focus on every word that is given in the examination. बहुत ध्यान से पढ़ना है। चलो, let's move ahead. With reference to प्रधानमंत्री कौशल विकास योजना, consider the following statements. Flagship scheme of the Ministry of Labor and Employment. हाँ जी, Ministry of Labor and Employment आसान है कि नहीं है? कोई भी मिनिस्ट्री हो, कोई भी मिनिस्ट्री लिख दो। 2018 के पेपर में सेकंड क्वेश्चन दिखा रहा हूँ, मिनिस्ट्री रिलेटेड, करेक्ट? इससे पहले फर्स्ट आई वाला दिखा चुका हूं, मिनिस्ट्री रिलेटेड ही shown in the first question. Now I'm showing you another question. समझ में आ गई बात? It, among other things, will also impart training in soft skill, entrepreneurship, financial and digital literacy. Obviously, this is going to be correct. ये तो aim है। Among other things है ना, बाकी चीजें भी। This is like saying etc. तो etc में तो फिर कुछ भी इशू नहीं है ना। सॉफ्ट स्किल देगा, एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप सिखाएगा, फाइनेंशियल डिजिटल लिटरेसी देगा, एटसेट्रा भी देगा, बिल्कुल करेक्ट है। It aims to align the competencies of the unregulated workforce of the country to the national skill qualification framework। कि भाई जो भी देश में हमारे अनरेगुलेटेड वर्कफोर्स है, उनको नेशनल स्किल क्वालिफिकेशन के लेवल पे अच्छा करके हम लेके आए। ठीक है? नाउ टेल मी, इवन इफ यू डोंट हैव द प्रेजेंट ऑप्शंस, आर यू नॉट एबल टू सी द आंसर हियर? कितना मुश्किल है भाई? या करेक्ट, देयर इज अ स्पेसिफिक मिनिस्ट्री फॉर स्किल डेवलपमेंट एंड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप भाई। So obviously this is going to be incorrect. These two are going to be correct. अब मुझे बताओ, was it not really the shock factor? असली तो यही पॉइंट था ना। नहीं तो आपको इसके साथ क्या नीचे ऑप्शंस की जरूरत है? ऐसा क्या लग रहा है आपको ऑप्शंस के लिए? व्हाई डू यू नीड ऑप्शंस देयर? करेक्ट? So obviously the 2 and 3 are going to be correct in such situations. All right, simple hai. Chalo, let's move ahead. We'll do two more questions and then we'll wind up this session. Which of the following change its name to Swarajya Sabha? No need to do such questions. If you don't know them, you can skip them. Okay, it's completely okay. No worries. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, कोई chill, कोई issue नहीं है. अच्छा, if you want to look at it, if you want to look at it and if you want to see कि ये question हम कैसे कर सकते हैं, then you can think on your own. फिर मुझे अगले लेक्चर में बताना. Think on your own and then let me know in the next lecture. Okay? So we will see that. Then which of the following events happened at the earliest? There are 4 events given. Which of the following happened at the earliest? Earliest. सबसे पहले क्या हुआ इसमें से? स्वामी दयानंद established the Arya Samaj. Deenbandhu Mitra wrote the Neel Darpan. Very tough. The toughest question in my opinion. A very tough question. Very tough question. मैं तो होता तो सीधा छोड़ देता. See, you should focus कि भाई हम हिस्ट्री के क्वेश्चंस थोड़ा छोड़ेंगे अगर हमें नहीं आ रहे हैं. This is a tip that I'm giving you. If you don't know history questions, don't run up behind them a lot. You don't need them. I've taught this in the EMC wala lecture as well, that you just need 50% marks. You don't need to run behind tough questions. Even if you get 40%, भाई तब भी हो जाएगा. 40% पे भी हो जाएगा. 40% पे भी हो जाएगा बोल रहा हूँ. अगर हिस्ट्री में 40% आते हैं तब भी हो जाएगा. आ गई बात समझ में? ठीक है? All right? करे बंद. अगले बार वी विल डू 20 क्वेश्चंस. हाँ, और पूरा करा दो. मेरे ओल्ड लेक्चर्स नहीं होते हैं. एंड देन यू विल गो एंड डू होमवर्क करके नहीं कर नहीं रहे होंगे. पूरा करा दो. गलत बात है ये. ठीक है? समझ में आ गया? अंडरस्टूड? हाँ जी. नाउ लेट अस वाइंड अप दिस लेक्चर. फॉर द फोर्थ लेक्चर we will meet and we will finish अगले लेक्चर अगले बार से. From 2019 we will finish them in 3 lectures. 2018 obviously I had to take it slow, but from 2014 what we will do is we will do it in 2019 से 3 लेक्चर्स में करेंगे. अभी इसको 4 लेक्चर जाने देते हैं. ओके, चलिए. सो I'll give you the update when the next lecture is going to happen. For now I want you to be prepared on all these 100 questions. On all these 100 questions, come and do your homework. पूरे 100 की 100 questions पे I want you to be done with the homework till Sunday. Sunday तक अपना पूरा homework करके लाओ on all these questions. Okay, done? ठीक है. Do the homework from your side. We had nearly 5,000 people today as well. 5,000 का नंबर क्रॉस हुआ था आज भी. Thank you so much. That is such a great feat for me. मैं ऐसे imagine कर रहा था कल that if I say that I am teaching 5,000 people and then I ask you to imagine 5,000 people sitting in front of me, कि भाई मेरे सामने 5,000 लोग बैठे हैं. Just imagine the kind of people they are. Just imagine the kind of crowd it is. So like it is a privilege for me. Privilege. मैं सच बोल रहा हूँ आप लोगों से. I never expected that my voice 5,000 लोग बैठ के एक साथ सुन रहे हैं. That is a very big deal for someone like me who comes from a very like ऐसे backward area of India जो कभी इतना डेवलप नहीं था. तो I'm telling you this, if you are honest in your hard work, if you're honest in your approach, भाई हो जाएगी चीजें. ठीक है ना? हो जाएंगी चीजें. And I owe it to you guys. I owe it to you people. I owe it to you people. Thank you for making that happen. Thank you for making this happen with me. And I owe it. I owe it. All this hard work is just for you guys. Because you give so much amount of love. That is why this hard work is there. Thank you so much. जाने से पहले just hit the like button if you have liked this particular lecture. I'll update you in the 4th lecture. Let's meet again soon. Please make sure that you are completing your homework and being here. Thank you so much. Keep following the channel and keep sharing these particular videos so that our voice reaches more and more number of people. For now, take care. Give your best. Keep preparing. Do not forget the pledge of 10 plus study hours that you have taken. This is Satyam Jain signing off. Till we meet next time. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Vande Mataram.